What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com, and today I'm bringing you guys my first video on the OnePlus 6T. Picked up the phone today from T-Mobile, super excited about this device. The first time that OnePlus has been on a US carrier. It's very nice for people out there to get a chance to pick this up from the carrier if you want. $300 trade-in deal as well if you trade in a number of phones. I'll link all that in the description. Today I'm going to do my first 10 things video just like I did last night with the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. If you guys want to check out that video, I will link it below. As usual, I've got a Google Keep document right here with all of the pertinent things that I want to talk about. The very first one will come as no surprise to everyone. It's the first thing on my list always, which is to set up Face Unlock or fingerprint, some type of biometric security, which is really easy to use and also gives you a nice bit of security to your phone. Now you can do that, of course, in the actual setup process, but if you want to change it later, go into the settings, go to security and lock screen. You'll notice there's a number of options here. I've set up 2 fingerprints with the in-display fingerprint sensor. There's also Face Unlock as well. Currently I'm testing the fingerprint sensor by itself. I just wanted to test it alone because you've got the new in-display option. I will set up Face Unlock later, but if you want to do either of them, they're right here. Sometimes it's nice to have both of them set up. You use Face Unlock when it's convenient. When it's not, you can use the fingerprint sensor. Just really quickly though, the fingerprint sensor actually is pretty good, pretty fast as well. See, when you put your finger on here, it sort of lights up a little bit and you get in right away. I'm going to compare the fingerprint sensor that's in display between the Huawei Mate 20 Pro and the OnePlus 6T very soon, so stay tuned for that. Once you get some security set up, the next thing you'll want to do is set your favorite theme/color in the display settings. So you can easily do that. Again, if we go back to the settings here, scroll to display. So if we go to back, go to display, which is up here at the top, you will notice that there is a nice theme here inside OnePlus 6T. As on all the OnePlus phones lately, you can turn on a dark, light, or colorful theme. Now the colorful theme, it's a little interesting. If you take a look at the colorful theme and turn this on, you'll see that you've actually got these sort of colorful sort of icons here. So you can see how that, really quickly show you how it compares to the theme where you have the light theme. If you turn on the light theme, it's still got the white background, but the settings icons look a little different. They're all blue, so they're all monochrome. Now the one that I like the most personally, again, this is kind of really a personal choice, is I really like the dark theme. You guys saw I was using that in the beginning of the video. With the dark theme, you can choose, of course, a nice accent color, and you can see I'm using the deep purple accent color. Those are your choices right there. You can also choose from a custom color palette, so you can customize this as much as you want to your heart's content. One of my favorite options on the OnePlus phones is definitely this custom theme overall. Gives a nice flavor to your phone and really makes it your own. The next thing is turning off Add Icon to Home Screen for new apps. This is in the home settings, so if you go to the home screen and long press here on the home screen, right here at the bottom you'll see Home Settings. Now there's quite a few things in here you might want to look at, but I think the one that's most important is here, Add Icon to Home Screen. I personally hate when all the new apps I download automatically get added to the home screen. Turning that off, which it is on by default, will make sure that doesn't occur. A couple of other cool options here. Double tap to lock, which allows you to double tap on the blank space of your home screen to lock the phone. Leftmost of screen to turn on things like the OnePlus Shelf. You can edit notification dots. And then one other really important thing, which I want to talk about next, is a second item on my list that's under home settings, is the custom icon pack. This is another customization feature of the OnePlus devices and Oxygen OS that I really like. You guys can see here, I am running the Pure Icon Pack, which I downloaded from the Play Store. I will link it in the description if you want. And this is where you will apply any of the icons you want. Of course, the OnePlus icons do come there by default. This is what the Pure icons look like. This is a paid pack, but I really like the way it looks. And again, add some really nice personal touch to your device. So a lot of cool things in there on the home screen settings that you'll want to take a look at. The next thing is the notch. Now I know the notch is a very divisive thing in the Android community. Some people love the notch, some people hate the notch. It's really up to you. It's a personal decision. The good news is that companies like OnePlus and other manufacturers like Huawei have decided to give you the option if you want to have the notch included or not. So if you go into the display settings again and you scroll down, and you'll see that there actually is a notch option here. So notch display, you have 2 choices. You can show the notch area, which is the default, which you guys have seen so far, or you can hide the notch area. And if you go home, you see exactly what the top of the screen looks like there with the notch area hidden. Now, my personal opinion, I think if you're going to buy a phone that has the notch, why not just go ahead and keep the notch on, because you lose some usable screen real estate that the screen was actually built for. And also the teardrop notch, as it's called, this little tiny notch on the OnePlus 6T, isn't really a big deal to me. It doesn't bother me at all. So I'm personally going to leave it on, but it's there to turn off if you don't like it, if it really bothers you to a level where you can't use it. Next thing is to choose gestures or buttons. So you guys can see I am using the gesture nav, where you can swipe up to go home. You can also swipe up and hold to get to your recent apps, which I've done a couple of times. And you can swipe from either the left or right at the bottom to go back. So the gesture nav is nice, taking some getting used to it again, because I've used so many different gestures on various phones. But if you want to turn this on or off, you go into buttons and gestures. And then if you go right here, you'll see navigation bar and gestures. You have 3 different options. You can do the back, home, and recents, which is the traditional sort of buttons at the bottom, which you're used to. Back and home, swipe up on the home button there, or the navigation gestures, which is what I'm using here. And you can see how they work at the bottom. As I showed you, swipe up to go home. You can swipe up and hold to get recents, and then you can swipe from the left or the right to go back. Personally, I would recommend trying the navigation gestures if you do get the OnePlus 6T. It's a pretty nice system, and OnePlus is doing some nice things with gestures that I'd like to see other manufacturers integrate. Definitely give them a try and see how you like it. If you don't enjoy them, you can always go back to the traditional nav buttons. The next thing that's really unique about OnePlus phones is the alert slider, which lives right over here on the side of the phone. You can see right there, it's got some nice texture to it. You'll want to customize what the alert slider sort of does and how it works. You can do that again by going into settings. And if you go into buttons and gestures, right here at the top, you do have alert slider at the very top there. There's a couple of things you can control. You can control how it does things in silent, vibration, and ring. So in silent, do you want to mute media volume or not? How do you want alarms to behave? Vibration, do you want to have alarms ring or not? It'll tell you there what exactly is going to happen. And then for ring, you can choose to have it also vibrate for calls or not. So there's a lot of options that you can set, sort of how your alert slider works, whether or not you want to mute media volume, things like that. Those are some important things because everyone likes to use silent mode differently. You know, it depends on your job, sort of where you are daily, as to how you actually want silent mode to behave on your device. Next thing is the status bar options. So status bar options, there's one that's really important to me, but there's actually a lot of cool things in here that you can take a look at. Status bar options are found within display. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see status bar right there. And a few things you can do with the status bar options is you can change the battery style. I'm using battery hidden because I actually like to have the percentage on, but you can also choose battery bar and battery circle. There you can turn on the battery percentage. It is off by default. You can also display the network speed, and you can also choose how the time is displayed as well, depending on if you like hours, minutes, and seconds, or not showing it at all. And you can also choose your icon manager to see what actually appears up there. A really nice option, especially when things get crowded in the status bar with the new notches that we have on phones these days. So a lot of cool things you can do to customize your status bar experience. I think most people will use this to customize how the battery behaves. The next thing is turn on useful utilities. So there's quite a few useful utilities within the settings. Utilities are here right at the bottom. You'll see right there, utilities. A couple of things that you'll probably want to take a look at are the gaming modes, parallel apps as well, which I really like. Gaming mode allows you to control sort of how things work when you're taking, a big gaming session on during a day. You can answer calls via speaker. You can block all notifications or turn on certain notifications, disable automatic brightness, and you can also add specific games at the bottom that you want to add to your gaming mode. Here I have Pokemon Go. It's the only app that I've really added so far to my device because I just got the device today. So it's really useful, especially if you're a big gamer and you want to take advantage of some of those specs on the OnePlus 6T. This is a utility you can use. The other utility I think is very useful, especially for people outside the US. I don't use it as much, but it's a very popular feature outside the US, is the ability to have twin apps. So you can twin your social media apps. For instance, if you have 2 Facebook accounts, 2 Instagram accounts, 2 Twitter accounts, you can clone those, and then that'll allow you to sign into both simultaneously on the same device. This is especially useful if you run a business page on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It'll definitely allow you to use that on the same device as your personal Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. The final thing is to get a custom wallpaper. This can be done either in the settings from display or on the home screen by long pressing, going down to wallpapers. You guys can see the one I have. This is actually the wallpaper from the iPad Pros that just released. How did I get that? Well, I used my favorite wallpaper app right there, which is Backdrops. I've talked about it many times. A lot of people ask me where I got the Red Dead Redemption wallpaper from the other day. It's right there. You can go over here to Community. That's where I got the 2 iPad Pro wallpapers right there. This is the one that I'm using in this particular video. So there are lots of great wallpaper apps. Backdrop's definitely my favorite. They always update with topical and timely wallpapers that you can use sort of when a tech launch happens. If you want the wallpapers off of a different phone, you can find them on Backdrops and put them on your current device. Anyways, guys, that is my first 10 things to do with the OnePlus 6T. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification icon so I can make future videos like this. You can also check out my first 10 things to do with the Mate 20 Pro in the link in the description. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.